Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Alienware's Lawlessness of Saint. Today we're going to be going over the new map and the changes, so let's hop into it. So when you're starting and you have a decent amount of attack speed, you generally want to start the double golems because they give you a smite buff, which allows you to stun minions on every 5th attack, which is really good on champions that benefit greatly from attack speed, like Vi, Master Yi, Warwick, any of those champions that have a lot of attack speed that they can build up. This allows you to basically perma-stun a lot of the jungle minions, like these bigger ones that do a lot of damage. Like this thing does 80 damage, but if you stun it, it's gonna mess up its auto attack and you're gonna take a lot less damage. Generally, when you do the double golem path, you want to go to your red second because the red now on the new map gives a buff that's not only the red buff from the old patch, but it's a new red buff that allows you to regenerate 1% of your maximum health a second. So basically, anytime I'm running around, you can see I have 10.4 health per second regen. Well, that's after I'm in combat, but my health regen is just slowly going up, so I don't really need to use as many potions. This allows me to clear the jungle a lot more effectively. The camps now on the new map have a 100-second cooldown before they respawn, so there's a lot of time when you don't really have any camps to farm, and people are like wondering, like, oh, what should I be doing during that time? You can be ganking, or you can be trying to get vision for your team. And one of the new additions to the map that gives this vision is this scuttle crab. It's a little hard to catch sometimes, and also later in the game becomes pretty tanky, but the early one doesn't have that much health. It has 750 to 950 health. And it also takes more damage when it's CC'd. So, generally you want to get this scuttle crab, and not only does this protect your bottom lane from having ganks, because it provides this little vision circle right here, but this also prevents people from cheesing dragon. There's a lot of champions that can cheese dragon now, and kill them. It's basically solo dragon at level 3. Fiddlesticks is one of those champions. Pantheon, Warwick, Nunu, all very, very good early dragon cheesers. And this prevents this just because it gives you this vision, and it also allows you to set up better gank routes going between top and bottom because it provides this movement speed buff, as you can see here. So this allows my mid laner to get to bottom really fast, or for me to get between mid and bottom. Alright, so another route that you can do when starting the jungle is if you have a lot of sustain and you don't really have to worry about your health, you can start this Toad, which gives you increased damage and a little bit of AoE effect. It's like a damage over time. Basically think a AoE singe poison on your attacks. And this just allows you to clear the jungle a lot faster. It increases your speed by a lot. And of course, I don't have the regeneration from the red buff that I talked about in the other route, but I'm gonna have an increased mana from getting the blue. So in Pantheon's case, this allows me to spam my abilities to get my block passive up a lot, which allows me to sustain in the jungle and basically, yeah, I don't really have to worry about potions or anything like that. The blue doesn't really do anything outside giving mana regen. It's nothing really new. In fact, they actually nerfed it a little bit. It gives slightly less mana regen than it did before. So after you do your the Gromp, the Toad, and then the blue, you of course want to get the health benefit from doing the red buff. And it's going to go down here. And if you get a little bit low from doing the blue buff, you can smite the red, and that will give you 20% of your maximum health. So I can just smite this, and you can see I almost reached full health off of doing that. And then of course I'm also going to get the health regen from getting the red buff itself. So on this clear, I'm going to cheese dragon. I'm going to try to solo it level 3. There's a couple champions that can do this. Pantheon's one of them. So basically you just want to get your 2 buffs and the Gromp. So you hit level 3, and then you're just going to head down here to dragon. Pull it out. Alright, so they did a couple changes with the dragon in the new patch. One of the changes is it doesn't give gold anymore as it used to. So before, like, you get your team dragon, and you would have to wait to like go buy the benefits of getting that dragon. You would have to like wait to go spend that 130 to 200 gold, however much it gave at that point of the game. Now you get the benefits almost immediately. And the benefits it gives at the level 1 dragon is it gives 8% increased physical, or 8% increased AD and 8% increased AP. This is really beneficial to your laners. If you can somehow get the dragon like through this cheese method, you can basically make all your lanes win just from having the raw extra stats. So this is the new Baron. They changed a little bit of things with him. He basically increased his health by a tiny bit, and they also changed some of his abilities to be a little bit more dodgeable. Like he has an AoE line spit now that you can basically sidestep, and his rain that he used to do is a little bit easier to dodge now as well. The new Baron buff is a little bit different than the old one as well. It doesn't give the increased health regeneration and mana regeneration like the old one did. Now instead what it does is it still gives you the damage and AP like before, but it gives a buff to each person on the team, the Baron buff, which buffs all the minions around you. It turns them all into like super crazy, pumped up steroid minions, and it gives them damage reduction to AoE on the melee minions, and it also increases their damage, their movement speed, and just makes them like jacked out of their mind crazy. Before, when you'd have to wait for your AD carry to walk up and hit the turret when you had Baron, now you can just park outside their base with the cannon minion and just take the base by your own. So Baron is now more of a sieging utility rather than a fighting buff like it was before. Of course, it does make you stronger overall, but you should look at the benefits of it as a pushing tool.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the new jungle. I'm here with Crumbs. He's the jungler for Dignitas. He's been around for a little bit. What, 4 seasons, 5 seasons? Come on, now. He's just like gonna be around forever, man. So you've been around. You've been a jungler for what, 3 of those seasons? So you're
Yeah.
pretty well versed about it. So let's get into it. Like, what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the scuttle crab, or like how
I
do you
think
feel
the
about?
one
How do you feel?
uh
I want to talk about the scuttle crab. How do you feel about the scuttle
all right.
crab? Because
I
like
think
you said.
Stoic it's pretty broken to be honest. Early game you can take it and it kind of protects your team, but that's not really the goal of it. Like the mid game Scuttle Crab for that first team fight dragon, like oh man, the first team to have that, if you have a team that's meant to contest it, you got a rumble speeding at you with the Scuttle Crab. Like that is not going to be something a fight that you want to take. So the team that can get it has a really good opportunity of retreating or engaging on you. So you need to be very careful fighting against a team that has that if they have some sort of engage on you because it's just really deadly to get. So it's a good thing to fight over, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's something worth smiting over.
Yeah, I like that it adds another objective into the game. It's like a mini objective because before you get into those dragon standoffs and your only option is like try to out rotate them on the mid lane, you know, like oh we're gonna push down mid. Now you can just randomly start fighting over the crab and you get random fights over that. So
Yeah.
I like that addition a lot. All right, let's talk about dragon itself then. How do you feel about the the changes to the buffs and taking away the gold? And a lot of people say the second buff is kind of useless or like the fourth buff's useless.
Actually disagree. I think every buff, I actually say that the third and the fourth are the least useful one because the second one really allows you to control the waves very easily. Like with your wave clearing abilities become that much better, and a lot of champions have the ability to just clear backline with the second buff of Dragon, which can be a way underrated ability. If you're playing like Zera, sometimes you might not be able to one shot the backline with one Q, so you have to wait a couple more seconds before you can clear away. But if you have the second dragon buff, there's a chance that one Q can get rid of it, making your siege that much stronger and your defense even better. So I think the first two are pretty nice, but the thing is, just dragon in general, it's not a big enough boost to the champions that makes that big of a difference. So it's a lot more viable giving it up. For instance, it's like, oh, we don't have any position here. We haven't invested in a side. Just give up this dragon, and it's a really good idea to do if you can't really contest it. Especially like you mentioned, the scuttle crab, like that can be really deadly if you're fighting against a team that has that.
How do you feel about Baron now? Like, do you think it's harder to do? Do you think like the buff is overpowered? I think once people get Baron, it's if they know how to siege, if they have like a decent siege comp, it's like the game is so done.
Yeah, it is harder to do, but I don't think it's that hard to do because I've seen Pantheon with the Vayne so duo it. So it's like there's still ways around doing Baron, like sneaking a Baron in 20 minutes, which is kind of annoying, but I mean, we knew it was bound to happen. But
Yeah, at least it happens later in the game now. Like 20 minutes is before like you 15-minute Baron cheese and you're like, fuck.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not as cheesy, I guess.
But yeah, that cannon, the fact that it can pretty much solo a turret on its own is pretty ridiculous. So if you're behind and the other team gets Baron, you might as well just throw in the towel at that point. So I like that it kind of counters a siege comp. I mean, one of those team comps that can stall out for really long, like maybe Syndra, Zera, Sigs, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
maybe it's too much.
I think it's a little too much.
Yeah, it's pretty long range. I think you could probably shorten the range of the cannon.
Well, no, not even that. The minions gain AoE magic damage reduction and things like that. So champions like Ziggs and they also I think gain more HP, and it just becomes like ridiculous to wave clear them sometimes.
Yeah, I think that those could use a little bit of a tweak, but with regards to the removal of regeneration, I think that was a great idea. That really makes it a lot easier for the team not that doesn't have Baron that's against it to really want to fight them, right? Because before it's like shit, they have Baron, we need to just like let them do whatever they want. Now it's like okay, well, if we take a fight and nobody dies, then they have to retreat anyways, or if we poke someone out, we still like stalled it out effectively, like right.
Yeah, that's true. You can poke people if you get like a good poke on somebody. It's like a lot easier to hold. So
So I
I'll give it
really
that.
like that. I like the removal of regeneration.
How do you feel about like vision control as a jungle?
I really enjoy the fact that with the Razor Beaks, you can actually be clearing multiple wars on your own. Like it's really nice to know that one person can almost remove all the wars in your side of the map. Like if you're pretty mobile with the Razor Beaks Oracle thing, you can clear almost two wards at the same with one sighting, which is really useful if you have enough attack speed, of course.
Yeah.
But like I like that because before what would happen was your support came in, the enemy support went in and triple warded your jungle, dropped the pink, and then it'll take you like 2 minutes to find the pink ward, and then you can only clear like one of those wards and maybe the other one if you decide to invest in a pink ward to clear it. So I like that now you can actually you have a good idea as to how to remove the vision from your jungle that a team that's getting far ahead and just get it out of your side by yourself without requiring anybody else to come help you out.
Yeah, that's true. It actually gives the jungler a way to fend for himself. Because, yeah, support roll up in there before, you're like, well, the game's done, guys. Like,
Yeah, it's like don't expect me to gank anymore. Like they know exactly where I am at all times.
learning the solo queue cheese here. God
Oh,
bless. Alright, I think that pretty much covers it, though, man. Yeah, thanks for talking with me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Alienware's Lawlessness of Saint, and good luck, guys. It's a jungle out there.